Welcome back to the Nightlife Podcast Season 3, Episode 2. All right, guys. Today I'm going to change things a little bit. I am going to interview somebody for the first time via phone call. Actually, I'm going to call him via Slack, an app I've been using a lot lately. But we are changing things a bit this season. And remember, I told you I was going to get into a lot of tech stuff. So let me get that guy on the phone. First of all, make that phone call right this minute. Bear with me for a moment, okay? All right. Let's hope he's actually home and waiting.
I'm here.
KT, how are you, my man?
Good, and you?
Good. We are actually live already over here. So, Katara Smith, say hello to everybody over here, man.
Hey, everyone.
Hey, where are you actually right now?
Charlotte, North Carolina.
There you go. All right, so we're gonna change things a bit over here for this season, and I'm gonna be calling a few people. And you are the guinea pig for this one this time. Season 3 is gonna change things a little bit. I'm gonna actually tell you a little bit about what we're gonna be doing this season, so that you understand exactly why it is that I believe that you should be on this show that is, a nightlife show, right? So one of the reasons is because I see that a lot of things are evolving and going in a direction where things are becoming a lot more, I guess, techy, and I don't know. I guess the future is here. So nightlife is evolving, and you are one of the people that I have met and have worked with actually, that understand this evolution and that see where things are going. On the first episode of the season, we interviewed somebody that created or is part of a team that created an app that caters to the nightlife, and we spoke about different things that the nightlife, where as to the direction of where things are going, as artificial intelligence and a whole bunch of different things. So why don't you tell us a little bit about what you do?
Yeah, so I own a digital marketing and advertising agency called Casera Media. And in general, we help businesses scale and grow using social media advertising. The way we came into the nightlife industry was we started experimenting with chatbot and AI-driven technology. And I had the hypothesis that this type of technology could do really well to innovate the event promotions and nightlife industry. And so eventually, when we do a lot of outreach, we ran into you.
Correct. So yes, we're going to concentrate this episode today talking about AI and chatbots, pretty much. So basically, we met as you were doing research, I guess, with the nightlife aspect of the chatbots and all that kind of stuff. And I guess you asked me to check out something that you were developing at the time, working on, and something that actually caught my attention very much, because although I had heard about the chatbots and the way kind of they work and all this thing, I didn't pay much attention to it. I didn't, I was just like, they're just trying to sell me on this new idea that I'm just trying to stay away from things, trying to keep things as simple as possible and as close to the heart and to the way things used to be, right? But the reality is that they've been around for a while, but now it's that they're really exploding and becoming kind of a necessity in a way. So I saw after we started talking more and more that there's actually a need for this in our industry, and as much as there is for the venues, clubs, restaurants, all that kind of stuff, there's also a need for it when it comes to the promoters. But I also realized that promoters and clubs do not understand it, don't know exactly what it is that it can do, and are close to like the same way that I was at the beginning. So how would you explain, you know, to everybody listening here, what it is that you can do? And when I say you,
Yeah.
I
So
mean your
go ahead.
your robot side.
My robot side. So this software, to keep it real simple, it what this software basically does is it simply simulates human conversations with your customers. So very similar to how Siri and Alexa and Google Assistant work on our phones. We give it a command or we ask it a certain type of question, it gives a certain type of response, or it does something, a certain type of action. For example, you say, call my wife, it calls your wife, right? All these chatbots are is a very similar software in, in a text message format. So you ask the software, "Hey, what events Do you guys have this week?" It's going to answer that with an event schedule that can be programmed into it. If it asks, "Hey, what do you guys is VIP table pricing?" It can show that type of information on autopilot. You don't really need to have your staff or your promoters or sub promoters really monitoring all the conversations and engagements that you may have with your customers or your clientele 24/7. And since it's in text message format, it can engage and provide customer service to thousands upon thousands of people at once. So they can maintain conversations with each user uh, personalized at 24/7. So it's really, really cool technology that can allow promoters, especially, to innovate and scale their clientele list and still maintain quality customer service for what they do.
So the bottom line is a better customer experience. Number one.
Hmm.
Now, how about data when it comes to the promoter side?
Yeah. So what this software, and I personally call my software Dio, so it just makes it easier for people to identify with. What Dio basically can do is by asking your clientele certain questions. What's your favorite type of music? Who are your favorite type of DJs? Your favorite type of alcohol? Dio, similar to like a human being, can remember ad points about your customers. And so what Dio will do is he'll create a list, a clientele list for your client for your clientele. Very similar to how a lot of promoters are using WhatsApp or just their phone to have their contact list. Deal will provide you your own form of a contact list. That's more so like a CRM, like a customer relationship management tool.
Right.
And so, putting Deal on Facebook Messenger, for example, Deal can show the profile picture of that person, and when you click on that person's profile, that points that Deal has about them. So Deal can know things like how many girls did they say they usually come with to your venue? What's that girl's favorite type of music? What offers has this girl redeemed through having conversations and Deal giving her tickets in the past? Deal can show the chat history, so all the conversations, all the texts that Deal has exchanged with her. It's really, really, really it can get really advanced when it comes to what we call humanized data, or having these key data points about each person on your clientele list. And then Deal can segment that data out, and you could literally send texts specifically to a certain type of clientele. So if you just wanted to send it to girls who are between the ages of, let's say, 18 to 26, who love Hennessy and who have been to your venue in the last 2 months, you could really segment it down like that and send specific type of offers and promotions just to that part of your clientele list.
Right. Wow. That's a little freaky. All right. So where does the name Dio come from? Hello?
Hello?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Oh, okay. I thought I lost you there for a second. All right. So where does the name Dio come from?
So Dio is just a short term name of the Greek god Dionysus, and so Dionysus was just the Greek god of party and wine. And I thought just Dio sounded kind of cool. And kind of makes
Right.
sense, really targeting Miami. So, with it having a very strong Latino and Hispanic background, DL
Right.
just sounded kind of cool and appealing for that demographic.
True. Makes sense. Definitely. Um, all right. Let me ask you a question. So, what can you do after you get all that data? What can you actually do with the data per se? How do you
Yeah.
use DO?
So once again, yeah. So at the most profitable way to use DL is once again using it as a messaging platform, sending promotions, um, tickets, ticket links through DL to your client at whim. You can also take that information and actually integrate it back into Facebook ads and actually create your own custom audience in Facebook with your Facebook ads tool and send ads on people's Instagram and Facebook feeds if you wanted to.
Right.
Once again, you could, like we said, collect so much humanized data as you want. And it doesn't just happen. What makes this cool is because Deal is not just simply an advertising tool or platform. It's not just like a Facebook ad that somebody has to per se uh, see online. When people are walking in the door, you can have QR codes linked there that people could scan. You can simply tell people to go to their Facebook Messenger and immediately Deal would engage with them. You can create custom links that you could put in your Instagram bio, that you could put on your website, that when they click on it, you'll engage with them.
So
You
you,
can integrate it onto your website. So on the bottom right hand corner, when you usually have that customer chat window, that
right.
will be Deal that could engage with your clientele and with your customers. So it's very there's a lot of variety to how you can onboard people to engage with Deal, and basically when they do engage with Deal, he automatically subscribes them to his clientele list from Facebook Messenger. What he'll do once they begin to converse with him is that he will collect their Facebook public data, which is just that's very legal, isn't it? Nothing scary about that. It's just name, your gender and your profile picture, and a link to your Facebook profile. Deal can't take who's your mom and your best friend
Right.
and just have all it's just your surface data, but he'll collect that data so you can see from now on just how many people you're touching. So this is very different from even a couple of years ago, where a lot of clubs and a lot of promoters would create ads and then it would send you to either a website or a landing page.
Right.
But a
Yeah, I was,
website and
I
a
was, I
landing
was, I
page,
was, I was just gonna ask you, as a matter of fact, which because
yeah,
I heard you mention Facebook and you mentioned Messenger, but what is the how does Dio communicate with the people? That's what I wanted everybody to understand.
yeah. So I put Dio personally on Facebook Messenger. Now you worry in on WhatsApp. There's a couple other platforms and messaging platforms that you can have it on, like Kick as well. Uh, but just for me, the most advanced and purposeful platform for promoters and nightclubs is really on Facebook, because then it has the added advertising features that you can work with.
Correct. Correct. Now, also, and this is something you mentioned to me before. Also, is for example, we've been building our database for over 2 decades now, and our email database is huge, but at the same time,
Mhm.
the rate of the open rate for the emails has gone way down. So,
Right.
what was that comparison between open rate email and when it's actually something like coming through Dio?
Yeah. So deals open rates range between about 60 to 100%. The reason for that is because when Dio sends messages through Facebook Messenger specifically, it's coming through somebody's smartphone like a text message,
Correct.
because Facebook Messenger is a text messaging platform. And who doesn't open their text message,
Right.
right? And since and it makes it very different from an email, because most people's emails, they don't even have notifications necessarily on. So they get an email and it doesn't pop up on their phone. When you get a text from Facebook Messenger for someone, it actually does pop up on the front screen of your phone as if your friends had texted you. So people almost always open that.
Right. Right. Wow. What do you see as a benefit for the end? You the not the the promoter or the club that is using, Dio, for example, but the end user,
Mm.
the consumer, somebody who,
Yeah,
what do you see there? What's the
yeah. The
main
benefit is
gain?
tremendous. The main of the game. So the benefit is tremendous because, like I said, quite similar to Siri and Alexa, it's getting almost instantaneous responses and information to your desire. As long as Dio knows and understands the information that a person's asking for, to the company and the promoter and like my company myself, ensuring that the information is basically taught to Dio. Um, you could be standing in line in a club, for example, and you want to get some information about the events for tonight or some drinks or something of a frequently asked question. Well, one of the biggest problems with the nightlife industry has always been customer service. It's always been the delivery of information and people knowing uh, the information for what they're looking for. So having the ability to have your customers and clientele basically act deal almost, let's say, 80% of any frequently asked question you have, and Deal can automatically respond to them is quite convenient for the customer. If they want to ask Deal, what events do you have this week? Because, and think about this, most nightclub promoters, they try to, promote using their social media, but that gets limited to a certain amount of reach. You do Facebook ads, but most don't necessarily understand the platform. Having Deal there where if you have a 2,000 clientele list and they can simply ask Deal 24/7, what's the event schedule for the week or for the month, and Deal can tell them that, responding or hoping that people somehow find it is extremely convenient for the end user because they can virtually get almost any information they need right then and there, which is the era we live in today, instantaneous desire fulfillment.
All right, KT. So let me ask you a question. Can you do like financial transactions through Dio?
Yes and no.
Okay.
It does have financial transaction capabilities, but it seems like Facebook's actually going to discontinue that portion. The way that transactions can per se be done through Dio, however, is you send a message to your 2,000 clientele list and you ask them, hey, we're going to have an event this weekend. Here's the concept. Here's the DJ. Would you like to get tickets? If they respond back, yes, you send them the ticket link to Eventbrite, for example, or your website to buy tickets.
Right.
So it can facilitate sales in that type of way.
Correct. It's just not the transaction. It just does not go through it directly. That's the only difference.
Right. It doesn't. It's not directly on
Got it.
Facebook Messenger.
How would you say that Dio differentiates from an app? Somebody that, if it's an app that is a nightlife.
So
app.
if you think of it in terms of an app, the first big hurdle to any app is convincing people to download an app, right? Dio's on Facebook Messenger. At least my software and version of Dio is. And so people don't have to download Facebook.
Right. Everybody
a
has
third
it
of the entire world. Yeah, a third of the entire world already has Facebook. And therefore, you automatically have a Facebook Messenger. It's integrated into your profile.
If they don't have Facebook, they're not going out.
Right. It's like it's already integrated in your profile, so you don't have to convince people to download an app. It's like imagine standing in line, somebody saying download an app versus just go to your Facebook. Right. Oh, go to my Facebook phone. Okay, that's fine. I have Facebook on my phone. So then you just go to your Messenger on Facebook, and there's where Dio sits. And then, so that's the one. Go ahead.
Sorry, and then the messenger that you're talking about would be like the person's messenger? Would it be a page? Would it be a group? Where exactly would that communication be coming from?
Yeah. So Dio would position itself on your business's messaging. So when people would go to, let's say, Messenger, or even he can be put on your profile's Messenger. When people send you a message, Dio would then automatically reply with whatever welcoming message or act. So imagine, this is for LMG Miami, your promoter company. When
right,
Facebook Messenger, the single message in LMG at Miami, Dio would be there. Now, the strategy I use is there's always a welcome message and then a menu of options that a person can, execute when they come to your Messenger. So they go to LMG Miami, Dio say, hey, my name is Dio, I'm LMG Miami assistant, Here's a list of options if you need some help. And those list of options may be for the event schedule, it may be to give them social media or to contact you and send you a message. And so Dia would help facilitate that customer service for them versus just having a blank messenger. They send you a message and then there's absolutely no reply, or Facebook tells them, typically LMG Miami replies in 2 days, and then
Right.
they're just waiting.
Yeah, it might take a little longer on the side. One thing that actually I think Dio can do, and it's very, very important, is the fact that every time that anybody asks question, they're gonna get the same answer. Because, for example, in our case, let's say you have 4 partners in a company, and then you have 30 sub promoters working, and then you have staff members and bartenders, waitresses. You got club owners, anybody and their mother that can actually answer a question from a client, and 10 clients ask 10 different people the same question and they get a different answer. Um, eh, Things as important as what's the cover to the price of a bottle, and to as small as what type of music are you playing tonight. You know what I mean? And that's
Right.
one of the things that I think it's important, because making sure that you're given the correct information is always important, and sometimes people don't realize that aspect of it. um, all right, so I'm liking where this is going. Where do you think, where do you think it's going in general in the nightlife? Because I see this as something new. I have not seen this actually in much of the nightlife, hospitality venues in general. Restaurants, bars, anything.
Yeah, it's definitely new technology. It's only a couple years old. Well, in its current form, you could make an argument it's at least 2 decades old, truly. Um, but in its current form, how advanced it is now, it's only a couple years old. Personally, where I see the industry going as a whole, I think what we call messenger marketing with Dio and these other chatbots is just a tip of the iceberg. Because the next iteration would be true machine learning technology that uh, runs off a complete algorithm. And so it actually becomes smarter per engagement it has with your clientele. And it basically takes a life of its own. It's like, people think of like all these futuristic movies where the robots are almost sentient. That's kind of where things are headed. If I was a club promoter or a club owner, personally, where the foresight of my attention would be an augmented reality and virtual reality, because that's where I ultimately see the nightclub industry is going to have a tremendous technological revolution, and those who do not keep up will be quickly ignored by the market and die out. And so the idea of using smart goggles and lenses and technology to almost party without being there.
Right.
To
Yeah, actually.
it's like those type of clubs. I was gonna say it's like those type of clubs where you can wear headphones to
Right.
party,
Hear
but
whatever
it's
you want.
actually completely silent.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's almost like that. But imagine now you're at home. You're not even and you can actually party from within your living room and talk to people. It's like
Right.
that's
I,
where
I can.
virtual reality is. Go ahead.
I agree with you, and I actually mentioned this on the last episode, and I just can't. I haven't figured out in myself how to do one part of the business. Although, for example, and the guy I interviewed, Marcus, mentioned something which is, like he sees it, and I see that being easily done, which is the VR for like a festival, for example. Let's say the Ultra
Mm-hmm.
Festival, and the amounts of people that can't afford the price of that ticket or flight or hotel and all those kinds of things, and be able to
Right.
be at that kind of festival, that kind of thing, from his home or wherever they want to do it. um, but then when it comes to the clubs, even though I do believe that is where it's going at some point in time, or the nightlife in general, I haven't figured out how to sell a drink to somebody through that technology. You know what I mean? Like the actual experience, because everything else could probably be replaced. Being at the venue per se, in the future, and actually having that conversation with that girl that's also standing there, at that moment, even though the issue is she might not be a girl, and you don't know who you're talking to. So that's one of the concerns, I guess, for some, maybe not for others, because as they're living that moment. I have actually heard people talking about that the future of VR is so if it's called that, I don't even know. It's so realistic that you won't know the difference between real and not real at some point in time, and that's scary. But I guess also fun. Evolution is evolution in the end. You need to be a part of it.
Well, and yeah, that comes when we specifically talking about like how would you sell a drink in VR? Where that's what we call disruptive technology, where it completely disrupts your current status quo to your industry. In a
Right.
VR nightclub, the focus would not be to sell drinks. The focus would be to get as many people across the entire planet to pay a ticket online to experience that party in your VR space for the night. It would have nothing to do with them drinking alcohol anymore. It would be purely off the experience.
Right.
So it changes the entire paradigm for how the industry would interact and look to upsell customers for the experience.
Yeah, we actually touched on the term disruptive on the last episode too, as a matter of fact. And the crazy thing is that it's that to some people that are in the industry, it's a little scary just to think that something might come and shake everything off in such a way that it might leave you out of it, which is most likely what will happen. Kind of like,
Always.
and probably where the term dinosaur comes from. And
Yep.
in the end you end up being out of it when this huge asteroid comes and gets you. So so that's why I believe everybody should be trying to evolve and learn what the new things are. And if right now, I mean, we're not there, we're thinking, VR wise and all that, I guess, I mean, I don't even know what to call it, artificial intelligence in general and everything. But
Yeah.
but the reality is that we need to move, every little step, um, and right now, I think Dio is one of those things that you must also have. You must think about how it is that you're going to cater to your people, and don't be taken out by the guy that's doing it because you decided, you know what, I don't want to do that because I don't want people to feel like I'm not taking care of them directly. That I'm actually having a robot assistant do the job because I don't care for them or whatnot. You know what I mean? In the end, you still have to do a part of the job, which is the one that I don't think any technology can take away, which is the hosting part. That one-on-one relationship with the customer is never going to be taken away by any technology as of now, at least that I can think of. Um, Unless the virtual reality gets very very friendly, but but currently I think everybody needs to be aware of what's out there and test things out. With that said, um, and I think I've touched on this before in our previous conversations, but I do think that in this industry there's a lot of promoters that rather not spend money on new things, right? Are scared or scared to spend the money. I don't understand the reason why, honestly. You will see a promoter wearing, new shoes every week and having the best cars and all those things. And although in some niches, it might be necessary because it is all part of the show, in the end, you need to be worried more about the business than about that part, right? And these things, like Dio, it's very important. I have no idea. I mean, what something like this could cost, but and another question: how much time would it take for you? Let's say if I'm a sub promoter, I wanna use this, or a main promoter, and I wanna use this, Dio.
Mhm.
I come to you on a Monday. What, like, how much time would it take, and what, how would something like that start?
So first we would have to understand what type of capabilities you would want Dio to do for you.
So kind of
So
different
it's
levels in a
very
way.
customized. Not two different levels, but it's customizable in what it can understand. It's almost like, think of it almost like a child. You basically come to us and tell us, how do you want us to train your child to act? And that may take longer depending, or shorter, depending on how advanced or how smart you want this child to be. So at its shortest rate, it could take a couple minutes, or it could take a week, or it could take 2 weeks. It really just depends on the size of your business,
Right.
how
Especially,
complex you want the deal to be.
I guess, especially how different it is from the usual. I guess because I guess the usual
Hmm.
you have covered. Already pretty much. You already understand the basics of what because Dio is designed for nightlife, pretty much. So it's you understand the
Right.
basics of what people are gonna want, but I guess what you need is a little more insight as to how exactly.
Linguistics,
Exactly.
ebonics, how people would say certain terms in your area,
Right.
all that has to be taken into account.
Can Dio speak different languages?
Yeah. I mean, it's a text messaging platform, so it can definitely converse in different languages that's programmed to do so. Now, I don't have somebody on my team per se who knows all these different languages, but obviously, it can be programmed to speak in whatever characters are possible.
Right. Right. Can it send different things as like video or photos, all that kind of thing? It's basically
Oh
anything.
yeah, oh yeah. Since it's Facebook Messenger, through Facebook Messenger, you can PDF files, you know, links to YouTube, to Eventbrite, whatever you want, just like any other text messaging platform.
So what's the promoter gonna do?
I mean, I say it like this: when you were talking about how if promoters and nightclubs don't keep up, they're gonna eventually gonna get die out and be, dinosaured, by media. Really, if you look at it, social media was really the last media. It's happened for the last 10 years. Any nightclub or promoter trying to really go completely old school, not even use a smartphone, not use any apps to keep up their clientele, try to have like a phone book, a nightclub trying to walk around and give flyers out there on the street,
Yeah.
you don't survive anymore. That does not work at all anymore.
Yeah,
But
it's
a
impossible.
decade and a half ago, that is what nightclubs had to do before Facebook and Instagram was around,
Right. Yeah, everybody
and you
has to
can't do that
reinvent.
anymore.
Yeah, with the
Right? Only
everything.
15 years.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. All right. Is there
So
anything?
if you're a promoter, oh, go ahead.
Sorry, Katie. Is there anything else in when it comes to technology besides VR and this and what Dio that you see that could be disruptive when it comes to technology, mainly in the nightlife industry?
Still, social media advertising. The nightlife isn't really, I would say, at the majority of the industry has not really adopted nor found things yet. But social media advertising, and specifically paying for ads on social media, so not posting your flyer on your business page or your promoter page, specifically telling Facebook, I want to spend a certain amount of money every day within this geographical area of my event space who are interested in these things. That is something that still is developing in this industry, and a lot of people have not mastered that, especially the club and promotion owners and leaders, because obviously your generation uh, didn't necessarily grow into this. This is something that's innovated and happened over time.
Right,
In
hundred
and of
percent, hundred
itself, that
percent.
skill set,
Yes,
yeah,
I
that
mean,
skill set can
I'm glad. I'm
still
glad that
disrupt.
we are doing it a little bit, but definitely it took us a long time to understand the importance of it and how it was needed. I mean, we believed that social media was about engaging and only and which is one of the most important parts of it, of course. But then also we believed that it was 100%, just um, post and make this as organic as possible. But then we started
Yeah,
testing, and we realized, wow, I mean, it's a huge, um, I mean, market out there. There's so many new people and new people that you can just grow and continue to grow and continue to grow. Now, how does Dio connect to social media advertising? Is there a way to connect the two?
Geo can have its own customizable link So a ad and the ad platform asks you when people click on this ad, well, what website redirect them to? The website
I lost you
address
there
can.
a little bit. Hold on. Let me go back
Oh,
1 second over there.
so yeah, I was saying Deal can have its own custom link, and so when you're on a platform or on Facebook ads, for example, and Facebook asks you when people click on your link to go, them deals. Well, when people click on the ad for your, let's say, a promotion you're having at your club or a certain type of with that ad, it can take them directly to their Facebook Messenger to actually engage with Dio.
Okay, got it.
So that's how it can integrate with ads.
I see.
One of the ways.
Right. So in the end, basically, you can do whatever you want with Dio as long as if you can think it probably will be able to happen. That's just it sounds like that. The guy's smart. You know what I mean? For sure. No, but I like it. I like the idea because it's really. I mean, one thing that I don't like is anything that could, replace the promoter. Anything that comes in to try to replace that figure is what I usually don't like or support. But this is an assistant. This is, it's going to help the sales. It's going to help the promotion. It's going to help get more data. It's going to help inform the community. It's going to help interact. It's going to help you have more free time as a promoter and go to the beach and get that tan. So in the end, it's actually here to help. It's going to help the promoter work with the clubs directly. Sky's the limit from what I see. I mean, so it's a matter of getting creative, probably, right?
Yeah, it's extremely creative because imagine being able to go into a venue and saying, "Hey, I've already asked the 3,000 people on my deal list if they would love to have a party here at your club, and 1,500 have already said yes."
Right.
It would be with deal where you can collect customer data before you've even officially set up an event, and somebody show them that they have customer feedback and they're willing to pay to come. So there's a lot of leverage in using DO. I was saying there's a lot of leverage in using DO.
Right. No, I get it. I mean, I'm sold 100%. As a matter of fact, I'm going to tell you right here on camera right now, I'm going to test it. I'm going to test it out for sure. So I'm going to have LMG test it for sure. I know, we've been touched by different people and offered different things. This is something I really like, and and I think you understand it well. So I'm gonna do that. So, man, thank you so much for your time today. I think we went a little bit over the time that we had today, but that's fine because it's a podcast, so people can just drive a little longer and listen a little more. But where can people find you if they're interested in this?
Yeah, so you can go to my Facebook page. So we have a Casera Media Facebook page. That's just the easiest way to contact us. We're currently redeveloping our site to be a lot more advanced. So if you just send us a quick message through our Facebook Messenger on Facebook, we'll respond accordingly.
Awesome. All right, guys, you can find me at the Nightlife Entrepreneur on Instagram, and you can find Nightlife Entrepreneurs on Facebook. You can find my book on Amazon. You find all of our episodes on nightlifepodcast.com. You find us on YouTube, Podomatic, iTunes, Spotify, you name it, wherever you want. Any questions you have on Dio, you can find them at Casera Media on Facebook, or ask me if I have the answer. If not, I will ask KT and get back to you. See you guys next week. Thank you, KT.
Well,